Hey there, Revers. Welcome back to another electrifying episode of Rev Your Metabolism, the podcast where we go over simple techniques to help you master stress, defy aging, and of course, rev your metabolism. I'm your host, Alicia, and today we've got an episode that's sure to turn heads and raise a few eyebrows. So buckle up. Hold on tight because this one is a real doozy. Have you ever wondered if there's something out there as dangerous as smoking? Well, today we're diving into a provocative question that's making waves in the health world. Is weakness the new smoking? That's right, folks. This is the headline from a groundbreaking study that's got everyone buzzing, and we're going to break down the surprising data for you here today. From hand grip tests to cellular aging, I'm going to uncover how something as simple as strength, or the lack of it, might be impacting your health in ways you never imagined. Hang on, fancy pants, because you won't want to miss a single minute of this episode. Get ready to flex those brain muscles and rev up your metabolism with me. Welcome to Rev Your Metabolism with Alicia Murphy. I'm Alicia, your host, creator of Stress Monkey Fitness, the Rev Method, and your go-to health coach for being super fit and unstoppable after 40. With 15 years of rocking the fitness and nutrition industry, plus overseeing the wellness program for a major shoe company, I'm here to share my knowledge with you. Are you ready to join me on an exciting journey to restore your metabolism, boost your health, and turn back the aging clock? On this podcast, we'll unlock the secrets to boundless energy, burning more fat naturally, and feeling confident in your own skin. Get ready to soak up simple yet powerful strategies that will transform your health and fitness game. These tips will be a game changer, so hang on to your hats and glasses. And do not forget to hit that follow button so you won't miss any of our amazing tips and tricks. All right, let's rev it up. All right, let's dive right in and talk about how strength can be the secret to unlocking a longer life. And not only more years, but more quality years. And I have touched on this before, but what I'd like to start doing is have episodes where I'm really showing you the research that supports a lot of the things that we're talking about here on the Rev Your Metabolism podcast. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about a study that came out of the University of Michigan. It's so incredibly important for all of us. And then I'm going to talk about the specific ways to actually get stronger. So I'm not leaving you empty-handed, right? You're going to leave this episode with a plan of attack. So yeah, as I mentioned in the opening, there is a study that came out of the University of Michigan with an eye-catching headline, "Is weakness the new smoking?" And it's got everyone talking. But before I get into that, I thought this would be a good place to insert a fact of fiction, baby. There's something called all-cause mortality, and it simply means all the ways that there are to die. So rather than saying deaths caused by diabetes, death caused by cardiovascular disease, all-cause mortality means all causes of death. Here we go with the fact or fiction part of this. All-cause mortality. People who have diabetes type 2, their risk of all-cause mortality goes up by 40%, which we're like, woo, that's a lot, right? But now let's talk about all-cause mortality percentage increase, risk of all-cause mortality when you have low amounts of lean muscle. Your risk goes up by 150%. Did you hear that? In other words, Rever, it's so important that we are building and maintaining lean muscle mass. It's literally one of the pillars of longevity. And we're going to go over a couple of reasons why today. Right now, back to this, is weakness the new smoking? We all know the dangers of smoking. Lighting up can nearly triple your risk of premature death from any cause. So again, all-cause mortality. But here's a twist. Those with low muscular strength, yes, as simple as a weak handshake, are showing signs of faster aging at the cellular level, much like smokers. Let me break it down. While your chronological age tells you when you can drive, drink, vote, hopefully not all at once, your biological age is the real game changer. It determines how old you look, how old you feel, how you perform. Scientists measure this through DNA methylation. DNAM is the abbreviation, which is like the grains of sand in the hourglass of life. The more the grains, the faster your body loses edge against pathogens and damage. So in this illuminating study, Is Weakness the New Smoking, the researchers zeroed in on grip strength, a surprisingly powerful indicator of overall body strength and health, if you didn't know. So using a simple hand grip test, they discovered that participants with stronger grips were aging slower at the cellular level. And conversely, those with weaker grips were aging faster. Now, why grip strength? It's a quick, cost-effective way to gauge someone's total body strength and therefore, by extension, their health, because we know of the link of muscle and overall health. This also means, by extension, the risk of early death. All you need is a handheld, I hope I say this right, dynamometer. Like a little tongue twister, don't you think? Yeah, all you need is a handheld dynamometer and a few seconds to squeeze. The University of Michigan team analyzed data from over 1,200 participants aged around 70. They used 3 different biological clocks. Now, there are a few different ones, but they used 3. And again, hopefully I'm not going to butcher the name of this first one. There's a lot of words that I see written when I read, but I've never really hear them pronounced. So if you're out there and you know how to pronounce these properly, and I'm not, I apologize in advance. So they use 3 different biological clocks: Dunedin Poem, Pheno age, and Grimm age. They found a clear link. Stronger grip equals slower aging. It's fascinating stuff. So for the senior population, and guess what? If you're not already there, that's going to be us. If you want to feel good and move good at 85, you cannot be average at 50. I stole that little line from Peter Attia. But we have to invest now in order to be healthy, live a long life, and feel good in the future. So for the senior population, the study has practical takeaways. Testing grip strength is not only easy to do, but it can also be an early warning sign of potential health issues. With a simple dynamometer, you say it. Oh, by the way, are you out there walking? It's 2 weeks in a row I forgot to tell you to get out there and walk. You try to say it right now while you're out there walking, Rever. With a simple dynamometer, you can help identify risk and take proactive steps to build or maintain strength, because that's what we need to do. So here's the bottom line. Being strong isn't just about looking good or lifting heavy at the gym. It's about living longer, healthier, and happier. Keep flexing those muscles. And remember, strength is the secret sauce to slow aging. So it's a lot bigger of a deal than just looking good in a bikini or being buff, right? Remember that strength is not just for the gym, it's for life. Well, I think this is a good time to stop here for a little fact or fiction. Fact or fiction? Lean muscle helps the body recover faster from injury and illness. Yep, that's a fact. And I just realized my first fact or fiction, I didn't even ask you a question. I just told you. Oy vey. Whatever. Anyways, we're just learning cool, fascinating things anyways. So that is a fact. Lean muscle helps the body recover faster from injury and from illness. And I'm going to talk about other amazing things that we don't often think about that lean muscle does for our body. All right, let's jump back into the second half of our deep dive into strength training on Rev Your Metabolism. Buckle up, because we're about to have some fun flexing those facts and debunking the mysteries of muscle power. Let's start with the basics. What is strength training exactly? In the simplest terms, it's all about using your muscles to push, pull, lift against some form of resistance. Now, the resistance can be anything with mass. So it could be a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a rock, even your own body weight. Fancy gyms have machines and pulleys and hydraulics, but honestly, even a heavy grocery bag can do the trick. Now, why is strength training such a big deal? First of all, strength training makes you stronger, duh, right? But it does this in a few very awesome ways. I need to grab my notes here because I want to make sure I don't leave out any of this absolutely amazing information. So, strength training, it builds lean muscle tissue. Think of your muscle as your body's engine. More muscle means more horsepower. Number two, it improves coordination, both within the muscles and between the muscle groups. Your body becomes a well-oiled machine. Boosting force production. This is how quickly you can move against resistance. Think of it as the turbo button on your muscle car. And the fourth thing I want to talk about here, why strength training is such a big deal, it strengthens the connective tissues, which is such a big deal. Tendons, ligaments get tougher, making you less prone to injury. Hallelujah. Plus, it engages your cardiovascular system, making your heart pump more efficiently. That's a full body workout without the treadmill boredom. And I want to stop here and make sure that you remember this. I'm going to do an episode about a study that came out that showed what was the most efficient way to burn fat. And it took different things into play. It's very interesting. It was aerobic cardio, strength training, nutrition. So stay tuned for that because I'm gonna talk more about that. But I feel like so many people think if they want to burn fat, they go to cardio. But lifting weights, gaining muscle makes you a fat burning machine. And if you lift weights in the proper way, you're getting that cardiovascular conditioning at the same time. It's amazing. Now let's talk about the hidden benefits of pumping iron. Because the things I just went over, you're probably like, yeah, duh, I knew all that, Alicia. All right. Well, there's more. There's more things I want to talk about. And hang on here because this is a long ass list of all the hidden benefits of pumping iron. So strength training doesn't just make you a beast in the gym. Here's what else it can do. Preserves and enhances muscle mass. Why is this important? Because it keeps you looking and feeling young. Remember, we talked about you have a chronological age. That's the number of years you have been on this planet, right? But you have a biological age, and that matters so much more. And when you're doing strength training, resistance training, and you're preserving that lean muscle, this is going to help improve that biological age at the cellular level. Awesome. Here's another thing. The whole kit and caboodle of Rev Your Metabolism podcast is it boosts your metabolic rate. So you'll burn calories even when you're chilling on the couch. This is the point I'm trying to make. I want you to think about your goal rather than burning calories, rather than, getting your heart rate up and huffing and puffing. I want you to start to think, I need to get strong, because the stronger you get, the more calories you're going to burn all the time. It also improves bone density. Strong bones are happy bones. I don't know. And then faster recovery. That was the last fact or fiction. Muscle mass can help the body recover from injury and illness. And that's a really big deal, especially as we're aging. Check this one out. Lean muscle, stronger immune system. Lean body mass or protein reserves can help the body fight illness, infection, or stress. Are you sold? You're like, sign me up. This is awesome. Lean muscle enhances glucose tolerance, which, if you've been listening to this podcast, my sweet revers all know that when we have our blood sugar managed, it has a positive impact on our metabolic hormones. It also impacts your energy, your mood, and guess what else? It can help keep type 2 diabetes at bay. Lean muscle will lower your risk of injury. Strong muscles protect your joints. It improves daily functionality, right? Lifting the groceries, playing with the kids, you name it. It'll boost your self-esteem because it doesn't love feeling strong. It enhances strength, endurance, speed, power, and agility. Basically, you become a superhero. It improves your body composition. More muscle, less fat. It lowers bad cholesterol and blood pressure. And the last thing I'm going to talk about here, it increases your aerobic capacity. So it makes cardio feel like a breeze. Strength training, it is the secret sauce. All right, muscle magic and chronic disease. When you maintain muscle mass, you're not just keeping fit, you're fighting off chronic diseases like obesity, diabetes, heart disease. Muscles are metabolic powerhouses, and keeping them active can ward off a host of health issues. So the secret sauce is called the SAID principle, SAID. It's an acronym. And it's time for fact or fiction, fact or fiction. And this time I'm going to actually give you the fact or fiction question. The SAID principle, SAID, is an acronym that stands for same as inside dindum. Same as inside dindum. Is that fact or fiction? It's fiction. It sounded kind of good, I think, the dindum part. I was trying to... Oh, let me tell you what it actually stands for. It's a mouthful. Specific adaptations to imposed demands. Basically, your body gets better at whatever you regularly do because your body is radical. Don't forget that. So, whatever you regularly do, specific movements, practice makes perfect, right? Range of motion, train the range, gain the range. This is a big deal. Mobility. I don't see enough of it out there. You have got to, as you are aging, even when you're young, for crying out loud, you've got to be throwing in mobility work, meaning the movement of your joints. This is mobile. And for those of you listening, I'm sorry you can't see me right now. Mobility, right? Mobility movements. So important. You train the range, you'll gain the range. Go to my YouTube channel. Check it out. Stress Monkey TV. Remember monkey spelled E-E. I have mobility work on there. Now, you could do light weights and long sets to build endurance. Heavier weights, shorter sets to build strength, right? And I want to say something. I probably should have said this before. When we talk about the importance of having a good amount of lean muscle mass, the key word is lean. We're not talking about being yoked. I'm not talking about having big muscles. I'm talking about having good quality muscle, lean muscle. Imagine, you see a steak. I don't eat beef, so I don't know for sure what kind of cut I would be talking about. But imagine you see a steak and it has fat marbled in it. That's not what we want. We want a nice, lean muscle. We don't want that fat marbled inside. So when I'm talking about having a good amount of lean muscle, I just want to make sure you know, I'm not saying you need to have big muscles. I'm saying a good quality lean muscle. And by the way, I don't not eat beef because I don't think it's healthy. I want to make sure I say that right now. I don't eat it because I love cows. I'm not going to eat beef. And I also don't eat pork. But again, has nothing to do with if I think they're healthy or not. All right, let's get back to this. The nuts and bolts of strength training. Let's talk about sets, reps, and all the juicy details that will make a workout effective, right? So we're going to spend the rest of this episode. I'm just going to explain to you how to make a strength training sesh effective, and hopefully help you out with anything that you might be kind of like, I don't really know how to strength train. And don't forget, listen, I make it so easy for you. If you just go to my YouTube channel, there's all kinds of workouts on there. They're all meant to be done at home. Usually it's either body weight or a pair of dumbbells. So, okay, let's talk about sets and reps first. A set is a group of repetitions, right? So if I say you're going to do 10 reps, 2 sets. 10 reps means you're going to do 10 times. 2 sets means 2 rounds. All right. You want endurance training, then go for more reps with lighter weights. And then you want strength, you're going to do fewer reps with heavier weights. But I do want to say this, it's also fantastic to mix it up, right? Because remember what we said, that the body adapts to imposed demands. So what's a good idea is some days do lighter weights and do more reps. Other days do heavier weights and do less reps. Remember, the last rep or 2 should be very difficult to get through, right? So even if you're using, say 5-pound dumbbells and you're like, I could do 30 of these till it gets hard, then do 30 of them until it gets hard, all right? Volume. Volume is the total number of reps that you do in a workout. Intensity means how heavy the light is relative to the max amount of repetitions that you can do. And then rest between sets. Rest lets your muscles recharge. More rest for heavy lifting, less rest for endurance. But I want to say the goal is not to keep your heart rate up constantly when you're doing strength training. And that's what I see a lot of people over 40, I'm sorry to say, especially women, they come to my classes. I'm telling everybody rest in between. We did round 1 and I'm telling everybody, let's rest for a couple of minutes before we do round 2. And I can see people off to the side jogging in place, trying to keep their heart rate up. The goal is to get stronger. And if you're gassed, you're not going to perform as well that next round. So just remember that, right? Let's see. Okay, let's talk about exercise types and sequence. Complex multi-joint movements like squats and deadlifts should take center stage in your routine. They work multiple muscles and joints, and it gives you the biggest bang for your buck. Always do the hardest exercises first when you're freshest, and bringing it back to I like to personally do exercises in my workouts or the workouts that I write for my group classes where there's a lot of core work going on all the time. However, if I'm going to do a dedicated core series, core circuit, I'm going to do it first because your core is your powerhouse. It is incredibly important. So this is a little tip for you. If you want to dedicate a whole circuit to just doing your core, don't throw it to the end of your workout. You do it in the beginning of the workout when you're freshest. That means your core is going to get a lot of love. You know what I'm trying to say? If you have all this energy and you're feeling your strongest, you should train your core first if you're going to do a core dedicated circuit. The other reason you want to train your core first is because for a lot of people, their core has gotten to the point where when the core is supposed to kick in and engage, other bodies are overcompensating. Other body parts are overcompensating. So for example, your core is supposed to kick in when you do a certain exercise, like a deadlift, let's say, but maybe your low back overcompensates and kicks in for it, or your quads. See what I'm saying? So if you want to do dedicated core exercises, do it at the beginning, get that core turned on, get it engaged when you're strongest and freshest. All right. So progression. And again, I've talked about this before. This is progressive overload. This is the key to building that lean muscle. You've got to keep challenging your muscles. This means lift heavier, do more reps, change the way you perform exercises. Your body adapts quickly, so mix things up. But that doesn't mean, I just want to make sure, that doesn't mean do a new workout every single time. If you do a new workout every single time, you are not going to have the opportunity to be able to lift heavier, do more reps, take less of a rest. So what I really recommend is you take a workout and you do it multiple times. Maybe every Tuesday for 6 weeks, you do the same workout. Every Thursday, Friday, whatever, you do the same workout for 6 weeks. And then what your goal is to progress it each week. Again, don't progress everything. Just pick something. I'm going to lift heavier this week now, or I'm going to do more reps this week, or I'm going to rest less. Okay. So here's a way to make it tougher. These are intensity techniques. Try these following intensity boosters. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this list in the show notes. So you can just scroll down to the show notes, the description of this episode, and you will find this list of ways to make your workouts tougher. Intensity techniques. Supersets. This just means alternating between two exercises with little to no rest. So you're going exercise A, exercise B. We're not resting in between those two. Then maybe you rest for 30 seconds to a minute and then do it again. Another thing is called drop sets. I am a huge fan of drop sets. Start heavy, then drop the weight and keep going, or drop to a lighter weight and keep going, right? Rest, pause. You're going to push to fatigue. You're going to rest briefly and then keep going. So when I say briefly, you don't want to fully recover. A perfect example of this is with push-ups, right? You're going to do as many push-ups as you possibly can. Let's say that's 10. The second you feel like you need to rest, you're only going to rest for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then you're going to keep going. And that maybe this time you're like, I can only do 8. Then you're going to rest, pause, and then you're going to go again. And most likely every time you go again, you're going to get fewer. But it's a fantastic style for an intensity technique. Circuits, right? String together multiple exercises with minimal rest. Density training. I love this. Do as many reps as possible within a time limit. I notice people really push themselves when we do this at our Team Skechers workouts or with my Revers workouts. When I tell people you have 5 minutes to do as many rounds of these exercises as you can, people work their tookies off. Their tushies. I meant to say tushies. Great way. It's like beat the clock, density training. Negatives. This is focusing on the lowering phase of an exercise. So you would count to 3, count to 5. You're going to lower slowly. And then isometrics is hold a static position under tension. A plank is a perfect example of an isometric. Okay. I personally love doing some push-ups, especially tricep push-ups. And I'll do, as many as I can till I start to get tired. And then I'll go halfway down and just hold it for as long as I can. It's fun. Give it a try. Consistency is king, but variety is the queen. Keep your body guessing with different exercises, loads, rest periods, weights. This keeps you from hitting a plateau, and it's also going to make your workouts more fun. So that's the big takeaway here. Same with our nutrition. We need to keep our metabolism guessing. Here's some final takeaways. I hope that this was very eye-opening for you. I'm going to bring you more studies, more research, simplified, just to kind of add a little boom, boom, boom to the science-based information that we have access to and the things that I'm trying to teach you and impart to you on this podcast. I want you to know the facts behind them and the science behind them. So let me leave you with this before you head out into the sunset. Strength training is a versatile, powerful tool that anyone can use, whether you're lifting a rock, a dumbbell, or just your own body weight. You're building a stronger, healthier you. So hit those weights and let's rev your metabolism to new heights. All right, thank you for tuning in. I love seeing you here. Keep flexing, stay strong, and I will see you next time on the Rev Your Metabolism podcast.